Hello and welcome to another Vein Talks Yanks. I'm your host Vincent LaRose, and today we are going to get into the Yankees Hot Stove. It was the first episode of Yankees Hot Stove this offseason. If you guys don't know, Hot Stove is a show the Yankees do every single offseason to kind of talk about potential trades, potential rumors going on in the offseason, potential free agent signings, and stuff like that. What the Yankees plan to do with the guys on the current roster, what the Yankees plan to do to deal with injuries they're going to have to deal with to start the season, all that good stuff. The show is hosted by John Flaherty and Jack Curry, and yesterday they got into a lot but didn't at the same time. And you might be confused what I mean when I say by that is they said a lot that meant almost nothing, or essentially told the Yankees and essentially told the fans kind of what they've been thinking the entire offseason, which is unfortunate, but let's get into it. So to start, it seems as if the Yankees are kind of in a spot because it doesn't seem like the Yankees really expected Trent Grisham to accept the qualifying offer. And with a qualifying offer of $22.01 million, Grisham is getting a ton of money now, and that puts a lot on that luxury tax. And the Yankees are kind of stating that they're not going to go over the 304. We got the How quotes. We've been told that, although they would like to stay under $300 million, they see it as it is unlikely. It still tells me that they're going to probably stay under $300 million at this point. The way the offseason's going, even if they go over $300 million, it's probably just Bellinger at this point. But the Yankees the way it was explained yesterday, it seems like the Yankees feel like they're in a tight spot because Grisham did accept that qualifying offer. Again, it's a ton of money. It's way too much money for Trent Grisham. They easily could have got a center fielder for way cheaper than $22.01 million. I was honestly surprised that they even extended that offer, and then of course I was surprised that he accepted the offer. It was kind of a weird situation all around. Nice, as I dropped my phone. And a situation I don't think anybody was expecting the Yankees to be in. So now, as our owner cries poor, not cries poor, but he's complaining that the payroll is unsustainable. He then went on ESPN again and said that he can't afford to pay these players as much as they're getting paid. And it's such a weird scenario. I don't get why the Yankees even offered Trent Grisham the qualifying offer if they knew in the back of their mind that slight chance that he does accept the offer. They're in a tight spot, and I don't get why you even offer. I know you wanted two competitive round picks, or I'm sorry, I believe they're just draft picks, but you wanted two picks. You want to be able to pick up two guys with just losing Grisham, because you're going to lose Grisham for absolutely nothing. So I get the hope to and the want to get those picks, but it's looking really bad now. And I'm being completely honest, as much as I loved Trent last season, I don't think he's going to repeat last season. If he did, that'd be awesome. I'd love that, but I just don't think Trent really has that in him. We've seen what his career has turned out as, and look, sometimes it takes players a little bit of time to blossom. It just doesn't seem like that's what's going to happen with Trent Grisham. But again, we'll move on from that. Like I said before, the Yankees just seem like they're not going to go over 304. With everything being said last night, with the Yankees not even talking about another starting pitcher, this and that, like it just seems like the Yankees are dead set on not hitting that third luxury tax, not paying 100% on every dollar spent over $304 million. And I get the obvious point of I don't want to spend money that's not actually going to the team, but if you want to win a World Series, you have to. And if you don't expect to win a World Series, why are you spending all this money anyways? Why did you trade for Ryan McMahon, knowing he had $16 million for another 3 seasons? Why did you make the moves you made? It just, none of it. Why would you sign Max Fried to the huge deal, knowing you have Cole and Rodon to huge deals? Why do you go out? Why would you offer Soto as much money as you did offer Soto? Why would you go out and offer Yamamoto as much money as you offered Yamamoto? This all doesn't make any sense to me. It seems like you want to be a World Series team on a budget, and that just, it's shown. It has shown that it's so unlikely for a team that's unwilling to spend money to get to the point to where they're going to win a World Series. Look, don't get me wrong. Teams that have had low payrolls like the A's and the Rays, they've all had their chances, they've had their shots, but it's not consistent. They don't consistently make the World Series. They're not consistently making it deep to the playoffs. The teams that are consistently making the playoffs and consistently making the World Series are the Dodgers. There you go. They spend more money than everybody. They've won more and have done more than any other team in baseball. Guess what? Because they were willing to spend more money. I know that they have the deferrals on their side, and I completely understand the frustration in that aspect. And it is frustrating because there are rumors that the Yankees tried to do that with Aaron Judge's contract and the MLB vetoed it. And if that is true, that is really frustrating. But a team like the Yankees shouldn't have to do that. There's a reason why Steve Cohen doesn't have to go out and give these massive deferrals. He does do some deferrals, which, I feel like is a part of the game. A little bit of money should be allowed to be deferred to help teams in that aspect, but he's not deferring 90% or 95% of these guys' contracts. It's just not happening because he has the money. At the end of the day, he's the richest owner in baseball. But there's also a strategic aspect about it. I think the Yankees and the Dodgers are better strategically at spending money than the Mets are. The Mets just spend money irresponsibly, and that's why they don't make the playoffs when they have the highest payroll every single season. So it's a double-edged sword. But besides the Yankees and the money problems apparently they're still having, they did state yesterday Bellinger is still their number one target of the offseason, which is obvious. It's like the number one talk with the Yankees right now. Just at this point, is Bellinger's returning or not, if they can do that. But it seems like they are not going to get into a huge bidding war for Bellinger. If another team is going to pay him $40, $50, $60 million more than what the Yankees are, the Yankees aren't going to overpay for him. And I kind of understand why. At the start of the season, the start of the offseason, 160 felt good for me. 160, 7 years. God damn it, I'm so sorry. 6 or 7 years. Getting him in that $30 million AAV range was fine by me. I was all for that. I thought that was a little bit more money than you should spend on him, but that was probably what you would have to spend on him to get a return. Now it's seeming like with Boris as his agent, that it's likely going to be in close to the 200, which is nuts, which is absolutely insane. Don't get me wrong, Cody Bellinger is a great player. He's very versatile, very athletic, great defensive outfielder, great defensive first baseman, bat on ball kind of guy. But he's really only proven that the past 3 seasons, and even last year, the year before last year, his last year in Chicago before he was traded to the Yankees, it seemed like he was still going to be a slightly above average hitter, but not that superstar hitter he once was. Last year with the Yankees, he kind of proved that wrong. I wouldn't say superstar, but he was a very, very good bat, and he did a very good job for the Yankees. So I still wouldn't spend more than like $180 million on him. I think $180 million is like insane for Cody Bellinger. But yet again, Juan Soto got $800 million, and although Soto is a better hitter, Bellinger is a much better defensive player. I know defense isn't a big part of the game anymore, but I'd rather have Soto. I'm not saying I'd rather have Bellinger in any way. I'd rather have Soto, but you guys get what I'm saying. Anyways, we'll move on from Bellinger. All we've heard all this offseason is Bellinger. And we will move into the Yankees starting pitching. So, Tuitsuya Imai wasn't even mentioned not once in the show yesterday. It doesn't seem like the Yankees are talking about him too much, at least externally, possibly internally. And it's a bit annoying. So I'll get into the next thing too. Yankees have said that they are content with the starting pitching and the rotation, which I understand from a certain point, because you have Cole coming back. You have Rodon coming back. Rodon will be back in April. Cole will be back in May. You have Schmidt as a backup after the All-Star break, him coming off of Tommy John. My only issue is this. As of now, Ryan Yarbrough is technically listed as a bullpen. He is going to be your 5th starter to this point. You're going to have Max Fried, Will Warren, Cam Schlittler, Ryan Yarbrough, and Luis Hill to start the season. Those are the guys you're going to have. Those are going to be your 5. Max Fried has had an injury history, and Luis Hill have both had injury histories. Ryan Yarbrough was hurt for a good part of the season last year. Will Warren was fine, obviously, and Cam Schlittler doesn't really have much of an injury history, but he hasn't played too much in the MLB. As we know, he's only got a couple starts. But you have 3 guys who have had an injuries in their past. I know Yarbrough is a little less likely, but Max Fried and Luis Hill have both had significant time on the injured list the past couple of seasons. So to go through this process and not expect any of these guys to get hurt, all of them to last through spring training, and all of them to last until Garrett Cole and Carlos Rodon come back is extremely unrealistic. We know somebody's going to get hurt, which means Alan Winans. I think if you guys don't remember him, had a start for us last year. It was horrible, and he throws 90. He's not great. But he would be your 5th starter at that point if they wanted to pick another starter up. I don't think the Yankees have to go big or go home with another starting pitcher. I don't see an issue with getting a starter like they did last year with Carlos Carrasco, a scenario like that. I feel like that would fit the Yankees well, and that'd be a good opportunity to where your 5th starter isn't literally a career AAA guy. I think at that point, you're giving away games, and last year we saw it best. We tied for first place, end up losing because of the tiebreaker. Every single game matters. They have to get out of the mindset of it's the beginning of the season, we'll make them up at the end of the year. No, every last game matters, and we've seen that. We saw it last year. It's super important to win every single game you possibly can, because it can change your entire season. One loss can change your entire season, whether it's the first game of the season or the last game of the season. We saw it last year. The Yankees have to be on top of winning every single game, and having to throw guys like that out there when you have the opportunity in the offseason to not have to throw a guy like that out there, oh man, that's very frustrating. But like I said, Tetsuya Imai wasn't even mentioned yesterday. It wasn't mentioned whether the Yankees aren't pursuing him, whether they are pursuing him. It's very strange. It almost seems like they're just not telling Jack Curry anything, which is possible. But Imai, I thought it was Bellinger, Imai, done. Every other guy would be through trade, and I was okay with that. Although I didn't think it was a team that was 100% World Series like caliber winning team. I thought that this was more than enough to get them going. Started good for the beginning of the season, and maybe having to pick up a guy or two in the middle of the season to really finish out the roster and make it well. Do exactly what they did last year. Get a couple guys on the bench, get a couple guys in the bullpen, get a couple arms, and really just finish the roster out. Although Yankees were not a World Series caliber team last year, it was quite obvious. But I felt like that should be the number one. Get those 2 guys, trade for a couple guys in the bullpen. You still have a high leverage arms in the back of your bullpen like Bednar and Duvall. Fernando Cruz was very good for us last year. And there's just a couple guys that we do have in there. We don't have anybody who is I'm afraid to throw out on the mound in the bullpen right now. We just need to fill the bullpen because we don't have enough guys on the roster to fill a bullpen yet. So the Yankees are just not. It doesn't seem like they're showing their hand as much as years prior. Like I said though, Yankees are likely only improving the bullpen through a trade. It doesn't seem like they're going to sign any of the big name free agents. Obviously Helsley and Williams are already off the board. But a guy like Edwin Diaz is definitely completely off the table. The Yankees aren't in the mix of him at all. He's going to cost a ton of money, and the Yankees aren't willing. I'm okay with the Yankees not spending that much money for Edwin Diaz. It's going to be ridiculous. But I did really want them to pursue Robert Suarez. I thought he would have been a great fit for the Yankees. I thought he would have been a good Matt Blake project. I thought he would have fit super well in that bullpen, mixing it up a little bit with sinker slider. I thought he would have been perfect for the Yankees, completely in all honesty, and it just doesn't even seem like they're going to pursue anybody that's going to cost them any significant amount of money out of the bullpen. I kind of understand it. You can get burned on the guys in the bullpen. It's happened so many times in the past to the Yankees, to every team in baseball. It's very possible, but I do feel like Suarez would have definitely been worth it. I know he's getting up there in age, so maybe that is hurting their pursuing of him, but like even Rafael Iglesias got $16 million for 1 year. That's a ton of money for a dude that's going to be, I believe, 38 or something like that. He's up there in age, although he was very good last year. It's a risk, and I understand not wanting to make that risk, but I really did want them to at least go out there and get one guy that's going to be a lot of money. But even then, you sign Imai, Bellinger, and Suarez, you're sitting at $325 million, probably even more than that. They're not going to do that. It's so obvious they're not going to spend that much money, and that was a little bit of a dream, but as we all see, it's not going to happen. But the last thing I'm going to get into, it is very, very possible that the Yankees are just not showing their hand. In years past, they've been very open with Jack Curry about who they're pursuing. For example, Yamamoto was a big one. Soto last year was a big one. And I feel like what the Yankees... This is my other 50% of what could be going on, why that show was just so... not really that informative, not a ton of information, a lot of talk but not a lot of information, if you guys get what I'm saying, is because the last 2 years, Yankees have kind of been burned. The Yankees have been used as leverage to get players more money at the end of the day. Soto, I think, was a great example of that. I don't think the bidding started at $700 million. There's no way. I think Soto used the Yankees perfectly when he got that $760, 16-year deal in his hands. He went to the Mets, goes, give me more money, less years, give me an option for more money in the end, and he got that $800 million contract and was like, yes, this is the route I want to go. The same thing Yamamoto did with the Yankees and the Dodgers. Yamamoto went back and forth. This is what they're offering, driving the price up, till he got exactly what he wanted for the team he truly wanted to play for, the Dodgers. And we can all see the results of that. And I can understand why the Yankees don't want to show out as much, don't want to just give out all their offseason plans around, to teams around baseball. It's very possible they could have learned their lesson from these last 2 years and go, hey, we're going to essentially say we're not going to be bidding for Bellinger this way. We're not going to just go out and be like, say that they're willing to spend the money, and it's very possible they're trying to use that their own losses to their advantage, use that as a way to get players reeled in, so they're not being used as a leverage piece for these players to go get more money elsewhere. And I understand why you wouldn't want to get burned on a lot of these guys. Yamamoto and Soto were two guys they desperately wanted, truthfully desperately needed when they pursued them. Soto, obviously, we land the first time, but that's through trade, and then we lose him to the Mets. So it's all an interesting scenario, because it's very possible the Yankees could just be like, we're not spending this much more money. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me with how much is on the payroll. Why are you going to spend $300 million and put a team on the field that we all deep down inside know isn't going to compete for a championship? And yes, they're going to make the playoffs like they do almost every single season, but they're going to get embarrassed just like they did last year, just like they did 3 years ago against the Astros, and just like all the years they've been getting embarrassed since 2009. I mean, there's countless amounts of times as Yankee fans can be like, we knew that team wasn't good enough. They told us that team was good enough to win a World Series. We all knew they weren't. They got embarrassed. Nothing changed the next year. So it's an interesting scenario. I really, really, really hope the Yankees are just playing that sleight of hand kind of card game. Not going to really show how much they're going in on players, not going to show who they're pursuing too much. We all knew Bellinger was the number one option. We know when the media gets involved, some things are going to slip out, some things are going to be said here and there. I'm just hoping that this is just like a mind trick. I just know deep down it's not. After House quotes, I kind of gave up on the Yankees going all in this season. I made a video not too long ago saying the Yankees had to go all in this offseason. And now, after House quotes, multiple times, by the way, not just once, a couple times now, I think twice, but it's just showing me more. It's more and more likely that the Yankees aren't going to pursue that deep, and it sucks because I really wish they would. But let's get away from all the offseason stuff, and let's get into something that's a little bit interesting before I end this video, and that is Sonny Gray. So as we all know, 2017, the Yankees traded for Sonny Gray. He was the most sought-after guy starting pitcher, I should say, on the market in 2017. During the trade deadline, the Yankees were able to pull it out. He comes to New York. He says how excited he is to play for New York, how happy he was when he saw it was the Yankees. He didn't want to be anywhere else. That's where he wanted to play. He wanted to be in New York. Blah, blah, blah. We all know how that tenure ended. Sonny Gray was terrible for the Yankees. He was either hurt or just bad. Yankees end up trading him to the Reds in the offseason before the 2019 season. Kind of just, we forget about Sonny Gray. He pitched well in his time away from the Yankees. And then about a week ago, the Red Sox trade for Sonny Gray. They trade for him from the Cardinals. They receive Sonny Gray, get a good amount of his contract paid, which is good for the Red Sox. And Sonny Gray decides to say that Sonny Gray had a full no trade clause. He decided to say when he saw that it was going to be Boston, he got super excited and immediately said yes, because it would be easy for him to hate the Yankees. He said he never wanted to go to the Yankees. He said he never wanted to be a Yankee, that he hated being a Yankee. He didn't want to be a Yankee anymore while he was a Yankee, and he just couldn't stand being a Yankee. He didn't want to play there. As we all know, it was quite obvious he just couldn't handle the media. He couldn't handle the criticism he was getting after being so sought after and then just being completely awful. He was so bad for the Yankees. And it seems like he's starting to stir the pot a little bit, which is kind of dumb, because as much as I don't like what the Yankees got going on in the past, players that have done that have only hurt themselves. They've not really helped themselves. We can boo Soto and Bregman and all of these guys, Altuve, but they don't come and bark at the Yankees too much. They say their choice words, but blatantly going out in a press conference and calling the Yankees out, saying you can't wait to play them, that it's easy for you to hate them, you are not going to have a fun time in Yankee Stadium, my friend. They are going to eat you alive. And I'll be honest with you, I've been to games. I got to go to a Mets game after Soto was Soto's first time back, and wow, man, even, I'll be honest, there's a lot of uneducated Yankee fans. They scream some not nice stuff, and if you couldn't handle the media while playing there, oh man, you're in for a treat. I found it really, really funny when he said all this stuff. I was surprised, honestly, because why even go out of your way to say anything like that? You simply could have just been like, I didn't enjoy my time as a Yankee. I'm happy I get to compete against them now. Simple as that. Going all out and saying that. I know some people are saying it's for his own personal PR, but he's been a pretty good pitcher without pitching for the Yankees. I know the ERA isn't amazing, but he's been pretty decent. He's going to make his money regardless. He doesn't have to open his mouth. So again, it's super, super strange that he went that route. But I'm excited for it. I cannot wait till he pitches in Yankee Stadium. I'm gonna figure out how to be there, because that is going to be awesome. But anyways, that's all I got for today. Let me know down in the comments what you think is gonna happen with the Yankees in the winter meetings that start in the next couple of days. What route you guys think they should take, or just what you feel about the team. I know it's pretty harsh, and I know we've been through a lot as Yankee fans this past offseason, so let me know what you guys think. But as always, I hope everybody has a wonderful day. I appreciate anybody watching. If you're watching on the YouTube side or listening to on the podcast side, I appreciate everybody and all of you. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and as always, go Yankees.